In Module 5, we went over migration, and I wanted to look at migration specifically for bats and breeding. So migration is an important process in evolutionary biology because a lot of species participate in it annually. Species can participate in migration for a different number of reasons. Some of them happen to be to find food, resources, different habitats, or breeding. So the biggest species that participates in migration are currently birds. When we look at bat migration, there are two different kinds of bats, temperate and tropical bats. Temperate ones are a lot more studied. Their shortest distance travel that's usually used for hibernation and mating, and their longest ones are for other reasons, such as food. Tropical bats, however, don't necessarily travel for hibernation, but they do for mating. If you look down at the chart, you'll see the different frequencies. Module 6 goes over the founder's effect, and I wanted to look at the founder's effect when it comes to inbreeding. Founder's effect is when a smaller population separates from a bigger population, but they do have downsides to this because they do decrease in genetic variation. So it ends up being bad for the biological process of producing offspring because you are lowering your genetic variation. When it comes to inbreeding, it could, with different studies, it could influence new species considering it's less strain on the genetics. So the genetics have time to, in the future of different offsprings, they have time to correct certain traits that could be leading to a new species. This is also where a lot of scientists get the theory of creating of new islands and new island species. So in Module 7, we went over sexual selection. So sexual selection is a form of natural selection. It's important for successive traits. So these traits that are currently in the population will continue to get passed down. However, it's not always beneficial traits that get passed down. A lot of them happen to be ones that are prominent, but they could pose threats when it comes to predation and other things. So when it comes to primates, this is a big thing with brain size and complexity. So however the social structure of their population works when it comes to male competition for females, it could increase the complexity and sizes of their brains. A lot of these primates, they specifically rely on monogamy. The more monogamous relationships they have, the bigger their brain size and their complexity in the social structure.